Some dreams begin to crumble when they finally come true. Rashta finally has everything she ever wanted, but that's when her dream begins to crumble. Let's continue the remarried Empress. Ever since Rashta's pregnancy became public, rumors spread throughout the imperial palace. Some claim Prince Heinrey has secretly fallen for her. Others whisper that the emperor and the prince have become rivals because of the letters Rashta once exchanged with him. The stories grow so outrageous. Some even believe Heinrey will be heartbroken when he learns Rashta is carrying the emperor's child. As Navier walked through the palace, those whispers reach her ears. She pays them little attention. After leaving, Grand Duke Kaufman sends her several books written in Lut, hoping they will bring her comfort after his departure. It is a thoughtful gift, one she quietly appreciates. As she continues through the palace, she crosses paths with Viscount Lotteshu. She has heard he has been visiting the palace more frequently these days. Although neither of them says a word about it, Navier already suspects why. Lotteshu isn't visiting out of kindness. He's reminding Rashta that her past has never fully disappeared. After leaving the Empress, Lotteshu heads straight for Rashta's residence. The first thing he does is compare her to Navier. True nobility, he says, can be recognized at a single glance. The Empress carries herself with a grace that no amount of jewelry or expensive clothes can imitate. The comparison immediately irritates Rashta, but she has no interest in arguing. Instead, she demands to know why he's come back. Hasn't she already given him 500,000 crowns? Lotteshu brushes the question aside. Moving to the capital isn't cheap. There's a large house to maintain and plenty of mouths to feed. His answer catches Rashta off guard. I thought there were only two of you. The grin slowly spreads across Lotteshu's face. My son. The moment he says those words, Rashta's expression changes. Alan, her former lover. Then Lotteshu continues. Alan and Liberty are both moving to the capital. Rashta's face turns pale. That wasn't part of the agreement. What if they recognize her? What if they tell everyone about her past? Lotteshu dismisses her concerns. Neither of them knows that the emperor's concubine is the same woman they once knew. And even if they did, Alan wouldn't say a word. After all, he's the one raising Ian. Rashta blinks. Ian? Lotteshu chuckles. Your son's name. Then he asks almost playfully, would you like to see him? Without a moment's hesitation, Rashta shakes her head. No. Lotteshu simply laughs. Well, if you ever change your mind, you know where to find me. Then he leaves. Left alone, Rashta begins pacing around the room. She loves her first child. That is why she endures so much to protect him. She eventually learns that he's still alive. Now she learns something else. Alan has been raising him. Part of her feels relieved. Another part makes her hate herself. She had only just begun living the life she has always dreamed of. But the existence of her first son threatens everything she has built. The thought stops her in her tracks. How can she think something so cruel about her own child? Tears fill her eyes. As she gently places her hand over her stomach, she whispers, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Meanwhile, the Western Kingdom prepares for its future. King Wharton III's funeral has only just concluded. Yet, Heinrey barely has time to grieve. His coronation is fast approaching. and the responsibilities of becoming king seems endless. For the first time, he finds himself wishing someone could share the burden. Without realizing it, his thoughts drift to Navier. She is intelligent, dependable, and carries herself with the dignity expected of a queen. More importantly, he believes his people will love her just as much as he does. The moment Heinrey steps inside, McKenna begins complaining. With the coronation only days away, there is more work than ever. Yet, somehow, Heinrey still finds time to send him all the way to the Eastern Empire. Ignoring the complaint, Heinrey picks up another document. It is the official invitation sent to the Eastern Empire for his coronation. McKenna reminds him not to expect too much. The imperial family is unlikely to attend. Then his expression grows more serious. There is another matter that can no longer be postponed. Before his death, King Wharton III leaves Henry one final wish: to see his younger brother married. Unfortunately, Henry doesn't even have a prospective queen. McKenna, however, has no intention of giving up. If Henry refuses to choose someone, then he'll simply find suitable candidates himself. Henry lets out a quiet sigh. The woman I want is far away. McKenna already knows exactly who he means. There are countless noble women in the Western Kingdom, women with grace, elegance, and every quality expected of a queen. Surely, one of them will be the perfect choice. Henry quietly shakes his head. I don't want someone like her. I want her. Back in the Eastern Empire, the day of Rashta's baby shower finally arrives. As Navier makes her way to the celebration, her thoughts drift back to Sovieshu's request. He had once asked her to adopt Rashta's child if they were never blessed with one of their own. Would others begin thinking the same? Would they assume she could never have children? Regardless of personal feelings, the Emperor's first child is still an important occasion. When Navier enters the banquet hall, Rashta quickly hurries over to greet her. Relief spreads across her face. She has spent nearly an hour wondering if the Empress will come at all. Without a word, Navier gives a slight nod to Countess Eliza. The Countess steps forward and presents the Empress's gift. Rashta eagerly opens the box. Inside rests an exquisite ceremonial sword, decorated with gold, diamonds, and colorful gemstones. Unable to hide her excitement, Rashta thanks the Empress. Then she makes one more request. Would the Empress bless her baby? Navier answers honestly. She cannot offer a blessing she doesn't truly mean. Only after Sovieshu encourages her does she finally speak. May your child live like the sword I gave you, extravagant and beautiful. Rashta's face immediately lights up. To her, the Empress has finally offered a blessing for her child. Overjoyed, she happily tells Sovieshu that the Empress blessed the baby. As the banquet continues, Rashta proudly looks around the hall. The very nobles who once would have looked down on a runaway slave now stand before her carrying gifts of gold, silver, and precious jewels. Everything she has ever dreamed of finally feels within reach. She gently rests a hand on her stomach. Once her baby is born, even the Empress will surely come to love the child. And as long as that happens, this life of luxury will continue. There is only one obstacle left: Viscount Lotteshu. If she can somehow get rid of him, nothing else will stand in her way. As her eyes wander across the banquet hall, she suddenly freezes. Alan. For just a brief moment, panic flashes across her face. Then Duke Ergi approaches. Rashta composes herself as though nothing happened. Instead, she proudly shows him the ceremonial sword Navier gave her baby. Duke Urgi admires the craftsmanship, the gold, the diamonds, the colorful gemstones. There is no denying its beauty. But in the end, it is only a ceremonial sword, beautiful to look at, yet never meant to be used. He remarks that perhaps such a life isn't so bad, a life filled with luxury but without real responsibility. Rashta falls silent. Slowly, she begins to understand what he means. Almost instinctively, she looks around the banquet hall. Several nobles quietly cover their mouth. Others can't hide amused smiles. Only then, the meaning of the Empress's blessing dawns on her. To Rashta, it isn't a blessing at all. It's an insult. Tears immediately well in her eyes. She cries that the Empress has humiliated her child. The commotion quickly catches Sovieshu's attention. When he asks what happened, one of the attendants quietly explains Duke Urgi's interpretation of the ceremonial sword. Sovieshu lets out a quiet sigh. Rashta is simply too soft-hearted. But Rashta's fear only grows stronger. Unable to hide her words any longer, she blurts out, "What if she hurts the prince or the princess?" The surrounding nobles immediately turn toward the imperial couple. Sovieshu looks at Rashta before speaking firmly. "Let's leave." Rashta quickly shakes her head. "It's all right. I don't want to run away." Sovieshu says nothing more. He simply gives her a stern look. Rashta immediately falls silent. Without another word, she follows him out of the banquet hall. Once they are alone, Sovieshu looks at Rashta seriously. There is something she needs to understand. Her child can never become the prince or the princess. Rashta stares at him in confusion. Isn't he the emperor? Why can't their child inherit the title? Sovieshu calmly explains. The laws of succession were established by the Great Temple. Only children born to the Empress can inherit the throne. Rashta's child will still be a member of the imperial family, but becoming the prince or the princess is impossible. Rashta struggles to accept it. If the emperor is the child's father, why should some future child, one who might never even exist, inherit everything instead? Why can't he simply change the law? Sovieshu immediately shakes his head. The law isn't his to change. Not even the emperor can overturn laws established by the Great Temple. Then his expression grows firm. From now on, she must never refer to her child as the prince or the princess in public again. Rashta lowers her head. Tears quietly roll down her cheeks. Seeing her cry, Sovieshu softens his voice. Their child will still have his love. The child will grow up with every privilege he can provide. Then he adds one final thought. If Navier is unable to have children, she will eventually adopt Rashta's baby. And when that day comes, the child will become the prince or the princess. Even after Sovieshu leaves, Rashta continues to cry. It feels unbearably unfair. Her child loses the right to the throne simply because she isn't the empress. Trying to comfort her, the lady-in-waiting gently reminds her of something. The empress has spent years without conceiving a child. Rashta, on the other hand, becomes pregnant almost immediately. Perhaps the problem doesn't lie with His Majesty at all. If the empress never has a child of her own, then sooner or later, she will have no choice but to adopt Rashta's baby. Meanwhile, at Viscount Lotteshu's estate, Alan confronts his father. After learning Rashta has become the emperor's concubine, Lotteshu makes one thing perfectly clear. Everything they have now, their new home, their place in the capital, they owe it all to Rashta. if they ever cross paths with her, Alan must pretend they have never met. Alan hesitates. Pretending nothing ever happened doesn't sit well with him. But Lotteshu quickly reminds him, no one knows how the Emperor will react if the truth ever comes to light. For everyone's sake, Alan has no choice but to obey. Alan is now in the capital, and another piece of Rashta's past is closer than ever. To be continued. What do you think? Do you believe Rashta misunderstood Navier's blessing? Or do you think the ceremonial sword was meant as an insult? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of the story. And as always, thank you for listening to Manga with me. Until next time.